Welcome to Stargate SG1 for the first time, still not a Star Trek podcast. My name is Jeff Aiken, and I'm watching Stargate SG1 for the first time.
And I'm Brent Allen, and I'm also watching Stargate SG1 for the 47th time, but for the very first time, I am stopping to take a look at what Stargate is trying to teach us. Those lessons that hold up a mirror to society, give us hope that things can be better in the future, or just tell us how we can be better human beings to one another. All
right, Brent, last week you said that this week we're going to be watching In the Line of Duty. Duty. I hope this isn't an episode with a lot of duty. I mean, I've got a kid, but I can't handle that much. I thought this was going to be a pretty dark episode. My prediction is that SG1 and SG2 are going to be involved somehow, and basically O'Neill is going to have to take out Ferretti in the line of duty. I got to find out if I'm right. Tell me about this episode, and then let's dive in.
All right, second episode, season 2, In the Line of Duty. Original air date, July 3rd, 1998. I have nothing for you at the beginning of this other than to say this is a Martin Wood directed episode. If you remember, Martin Wood is our little resident Alfred Hitchcock, likes to put little cameos of himself in the episode. We'll keep an eye out. I'll try. You probably can't point him out, so I'll have to try to point him out for you so you can recognize who he is. But with that, Jeff, it is time. Let's go watch this episode. If you're joining us for the first time here the way this works is Jeff and I are going to watch the episode right now. We're going to do it right now. We have not watched it prior to this. We're going to watch it right now. And if you want to see that full unedited video, head over to our Patreon page. You can do that at patreon.com/Babylon5First, or check the show notes for updated links, as that'll probably be coming sometime soon.
If you're listening to the audio version of this on a podcast app, you're about to jump into the future. We're going to skip over the episode, and you are going to get my for the first time reaction, followed by any sci-fi messages that Brent may or may not have found in this episode. So Brent, bring it up. Let's go. Whoa.
It's a Horgon.
Looks like Greyjack.
It does, doesn't it? Oh, it does. It's not Ryza, though.
This seems like a fair fight. For our cold open, we just need every stunt coordinator stunt actor who's not working today. Line them up.
Let's go,
all of
Captain.
them.
Those gliders are coming back around.
Hands alive!
We cannot wait.
We got SG1 on the scene. So far, part of my prediction is right.
Okay, come on. Don't panic. We'll have you out of here in a minute.
Don't panic, he says.
Everything's fine. Walk, don't run. You know they don't have you do that when you do CPR. Whoa! Whoa.
Did you not hear it, Jeff?
All right.
Yeah.
Jeff,
No.
I'm going to take this back. I want you to listen. Listen. Use your ears
Yeah.
in this scene.
Okay. It's a Goa'uld!
She got the glowy eyes. Uh-oh. Sam. All right, Jeff.
So here's what I'm really afraid of right now.
Yeah.
I thought this was going to be O'Neill and Ferretti, and we're going to see Ferretti go, it might be Carter.
The words in your prediction that stood out to me, should I tell you?
Not yet.
You
Not
said,
yet.
oh.
No. Yeah, don't. If it gives anything away, don't tell me.
I will simply say this. For those of you watching the video, you can go back and check it out. Jeff, if you have this kind of memory that you'll know, then you deserve to know. It was literally the very first thing you said about this episode, what it would be.
Okay.
I was like, oh, could see that. But we'll see. Here's the good news that spoiler alert, Amanda Tapping's still on the DVD cover.
Right, yeah.
For all 10 seasons.
Oh, I'll tell. Okay, as I say, it's only the second episode of this, so at least get her through this season. So.
Yeah, she's on all 10 seasons. So
I've seen the Goa'uld wipe out entire civilizations with no reason, simply because it gave them pleasure.
Tilk's listening to them being like,
next on the list.
children.
And part of me wishes it was that simple, but I don't want to underestimate them.
Maybe the reasons just weren't made apparent to you, Teal'c. I mean, you are just a Jaffa.
Whoa.
cue the
What I
music.
meant was that wouldn't want to break post-mission protocol, right, Colonel?
That's
No.
right. Why I reminded you.
Well, now wait a
He's
minute,
picking
Jeff.
up on
You were
something.
looking at your notes. Hold on. Look at her when she says, I'm taking notes, Jeff. Watch the episode.
Oh, Carter, I hate to be a nag about this, but old Doc Fraser says you hadn't been checked out yet.
For right now. Wouldn't want to break post-mission protocol, right, Colonel?
Oh, yeah.
He just broed him up.
Cassandra's been asking about you.
That's an incredible
Kid.
non-Greg reference.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cassandra the kid.
Been so busy lately.
She understands.
You're right. Just, oh, yeah, go ahead and shove it in.
Okay. You just let me know if it gets worse.
I
We're
gag
free
when I
to go out
brush my
tomorrow,
teeth.
though, right? We're searching possible relocation sites for the Nasians.
Sure.
Go and be really mean to this kid because you're a Goa'uld now. It's going to be fun.
So is the Air Force Academy Hospital in Colorado?
I don't know.
Because that's where the
Patient
that's where
has
the silo.
third-degree
That's where,
burns to over 80% of his body.
I think it might be,
so
actually.
far, no sign of infection.
But I don't know for sure.
Incredible.
I hope it is.
Never paid a lot of attention to the Air Force.
Hey.
All
Sandra.
the trauma Cassandra
It's just
had,
me,
like
honey.
she probably
I got
has,
Colonel O'Neill with me.
she probably developed some way of like being able to tell because that's trouble. Kids
Well, yeah,
is
remember she
resilient
was
that
well,
way.
she was genetically modified by a Goa'uld. So
Mm-hmm.
you're right. You're right. She has something that lets her sense it.
Why don't you tell old Uncle Jack what's going on? It's cool. Gets down to her level. That's good. That's
Janet says
leadership right
you've been a
there.
little upset since
Understanding kids.
Why?
Good question. That's a good follow up. She Goa'uld.
She's a Goa'uld.
Yeah, look at that.
Where's the Colonel? We're due to get out of here in 5 minutes.
Is this one of those episodes that, like, if they had cell phones, wouldn't even be an episode?
Some computer glitch.
The hell was that?
Oh, you'll dig it.
That was enough to take down an elephant.
Did she just call her fat?
No.
Open the Stargate!
Jack, what the hell is going on?
Do the math, bro.
Open the gate now! I command you.
Whoa!
She broke his
Open the
nose.
gate
in that
now, or we will all die!
Wow. She pulled the pin.
one. Jeff, when the thing gets released on a grenade, how long does it have before it explodes?
Nobody's gonna.
Depends
open
on
that
the
Stargate.
grenade.
We're all gonna live, or we're all gonna die right here.
I just feel like you're gonna appreciate this.
Let me go. I must go.
Yeah, and she's still holding the thing. So the pin came out, but she lets go. It'll come out.
Okay.
Oh, the tranks fight.
But I love that he grabbed her hand
Yeah,
to hold
not
that
her.
thing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. But look, they even show him like he picks up the pin, sticks the pin back in. It's good.
I'm not giving up on Captain Carter either. But until someone presents me with a viable option, I'm putting you in charge of interrogating the prisoner.
If I get an option,
Respect, sir, I
this
don't
is your
think
problem.
That thing in her head's gonna tell me anything.
Colonel, we need to know what that ghoul's doing here.
O'Neill, go talk to this brick wall that's going to insult you.
Sorry to bother you.
$2 if you know what's getting ready to happen, Jeff.
Get rid of some of those bandages.
Colonel O'Neill, when you speak to her, do not see your friend.
How do you do that?
We were talking before we went on mic. I had a rough day at work today, and I'm in the middle of I'm helping conduct an HR investigation. And one of the people that's being investigated is somebody I've worked with for like 15 years. Like we go way back. Part of being in like a management leadership position, which as a colonel, right, O'Neill has been.
Well, he is the manager of that team.
He's and part of that job is having to sit down and be like, hey, like we're buddies. Also, right now, I just need you to tell me what's up. This isn't personal. You might try to get personal. I have techniques to like kind of, take your deflection and move it away and aside. Hey, we're not talking about that right now. We're talking about this. So I get the emotional impact of that statement. Like I care about her. She's my friend. I can't do it. But functionally, this is something O'Neill should have down pretty pat. That's a management moment by Jeff Aiken.
Welcome to the Stargate Leadership Academy.
Right. She's just standing at attention. Look at that.
Well, she's in the pool of light, Very Goa'uldish. Just I'm gonna be in the pool of light.
Does this highlight the best part of my face? I need to stand there.
This is a picture of the man the Goa'uld came from.
There it is.
Okay, I think I know. Let me. I gotta pause here.
It's my husband.
Does it bother you that this pre-technology race has a picture from before the Goa'uld came and started blowing them up?
No.
No.
I'll pause it. We'll see it again here in a second. I'll show you.
Okay.
Exactly what it is. It's like the dumbest thing, but it just bugs me every time I see it. There it is. You can just sort of see the top of it. If you look right down there in the bottom left-hand corner, Jeff, what do you see on Daniel's shoulder right there? Or his arm, rather.
Is that an SG bat? Like
it's an SG patch.
This, right? It's this
guy. Yeah, it's an SG patch. Why would he be wearing any SG insignia outside of the base on Earth?
Good point.
The super secret.
Yeah, right?
Like, specifically, if you look at Sam and O'Neill, when they're coming through the hospital, they're just in their green jumpsuit. All the patches are taken off because they're all like Velcroed on, right? Like they're all taken off. He's just got his on right there. Like it's no big deal.
No military discipline. He's unsat.
But that's like literally breach of security.
Yeah, it's
like,
kind of a big
that's
deal.
a big deal, right? Like somebody should have caught him as he's leaving the base. Like, Dr. Jackson, you take that off your shoulder.
I can't court-martial you, but I can arrest you. So
yeah,
yeah.
Maybe put on a different jacket. What do you say?
Anything.
But it just the fact that they thought to take it off of Sam and Jack, but
and
not
then left
Daniel.
it here.
Yeah, like
Wait.
I hope, beyond all hope, that Goa'uld guy is walking around in his bandages like a mummy. Still intubated, the whole thing, just walking around.
There you
go. Yes!
No, don't take it off. He looks so familiar, Jeff. I can never place this guy's face, but he looks so familiar. Whoa. At least wash it off, man. Like, run some water over that thing.
Oh, it's the hand thing. He put the doctor, he wrapped the doctor up. Smart guy.
Go through the Stargate. I will find another host and send your friend back to you.
You know I can't trust you.
I could have killed you and many others when you stopped me from going through the Stargate.
You didn't want to die yourself.
It would not have killed me. I am too valuable.
Which is exactly why we'll never let you go.
I have done nothing to harm you, but you would not let me go even if you did believe me.
He did just try to genocide a whole people.
Oh, God. He's telling you the truth. Please, Jack.
That's dirty. That's dirty.
Jack, please, don't leave me. Please, give me a chance. Don't leave me like this. Please.
Good on him. Good on O'Neill. And Carter would know that. Right? And he knows that she would know that. It's a smart Goa'uld, though. It's really like playing with all, like, I know exactly what you want.
Jaffa, you must convince the humans to let me go.
They will not let you go.
There are a few that oppose the system lords and their ways. You must have heard of the Tok'ra. Not every Goa'uld is an enemy to the people of this planet. The Tok'ra are real, no matter what Apophis has told you.
I have yet to meet one.
You have now. I am Jolinar of Mokshur.
If you've ever heard Teal'c say, holy sh...
Right, that's about as close as you get.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Wrong dude. Wrong dude.
Jolinar once tried to overthrow one of the system lords, but was defeated when Apophis joined the battle.
Well, that's why Jolinar didn't reveal himself to be a Goa'uld. He was actually hiding out in the Nassian Man.
Until he was hunted down by the ashrak. When he realized we may have helped him escape through the Stargate.
He improvised. We may have a Goa'uld out there who's on a mission to kill Carter.
You might also
we don't
have...
even know what he looks like.
You might also have an inside, like a mole, who can help you with stuff, but you got to give up Carter to get that. Oof. I thought this one was going to be dark.
Sending these people home.
Pretty dark.
Yeah, you could say that.
They turned Sam into a Goa'uld.
Letting me go, trusting me, is the only chance of saving your friend Samantha. I can give her back to you.
We can't let you go.
I'm not talking about Samantha, Daniel.
Oh.
I'm talking about Sharae.
Oh, she knows everything.
The dirty.
I know where she is.
As you were.
There's really no
See,
need
I
to
can't
worry about
imagine
being
you walk
team
onto a
waiting for
base
you
like
on
that
the
and somebody
side.
walks in the room and you have no idea who they are, you've never seen them before in your life. And you're just like, oh, whatever.
You work in a place like this, you're trained to question everything.
You know everybody who works there.
Where's my Stargate guy? Who are you?
The transport truck that delivered the Nassians just reported to the infirmary. Says he blacked out.
Don't you also lock down the base at that moment and, like, maybe stop styling the gate?
Yeah. We're in the middle of, like, a base-wide alert. Don't open the door.
Right. Any of them. Especially one that goes to another planet.
Interesting weapons these humans use. Krishak, Jolinar. By decree of the Goa'uld system lords, you will die with dishonor by the power of the heart.
It is pretty amazing, Jeff. And you watch what he does here. You think he does this because he's a Goa'uld, right?
Okay.
Like super strength, right?
Krishak,
So
Jolinar.
Jolinar could have done that at any moment.
By decree of the Goa'uld system lords, you will die with
Literally right now, he's
dishonor
like,
by the
oh my
power
God,
of
why didn't I think of that?
Hear this. My death only feeds the fire that burns strong in the Tok'ra.
It's good effect.
Sam!
You'll get a medical
Do
team
not
down here
give
right
her
away.
mouth to mouth.
I think that's what he's thinking in this moment. Like, she's like on the table. like
Writing
that.
it in. I love that.
Like, I always wonder, like, do they teach that in doctor school? Like, get on the gurney and ride with the patient? Like, let them wield you both?
You're gonna be okay.
Hey, remember when we said don't
I hope
open
your
the
friend
gate?
will also be well.
Yeah, I feel like
Pulse is erratic.
you stand by.
We're getting feedback from
Don't
the
send these
EEG.
people through.
What is this?
You're not trying to stop me or I'll kill him.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, apparently you've not met us before. Like,
Yeah.
you can kill him. I'm not opening the gate. Like,
I don't know. I've never
He's
dealt
died
with this
before.
situation.
Not too worried about it.
The
Right.
Goa'uld looks like it's dying and taking Carter with it.
They're not gonna let you go.
I always wanted O'Neill to go as well. Like,
Open the
he's not
Stargate!
gonna let it go.
I am sorry, Daniel Jackson.
One shot, stun. 2 for him.
Give him a third one. Give him a third one.
No, that cost too much money. You already spent a lot on the shot.
Just don't ever do that again.
I'm not going to promise that.
You know, you
Parasite
almost
is
wonder,
dead.
is that like standard training in the SGC to get shot with, like, you go into police academy, you're going to get hit with a stun gun. Like,
Yep.
we're going to shoot you with a
Find out
zap so you know what it
milligram
feels
of
like.
FP, then prepare for
I have a fun
takeover.
story about the getting shot with a stun gun. Remind me afterwards.
She's got a pulse.
Uh-oh.
Jolinar sacrificed himself.
Faith
to
but
save
stable.
her.
Goa'uld gave its life for me. Saved me.
What happens to the Goa'uld's body?
If they don't answer it in this episode, I'll tell you on the backside.
I don't see a pleasant evening for Dr. Carter.
He's holding those flowers so awkwardly. It's like, dude, have you ever brought flowers to somebody before? Like, ever?
They told me this was the right thing to do. I don't understand it, but here they are.
You're going to be okay.
No.
All right, Jeff, we have just finished, like, immediately, 10 seconds ago, watching In the Line of Duty. I can't wait to hear what you thought of this episode, Jeff.
This was great. Last week we talked about how, like, we ended the story, right? Apophis is dead and that whole thing's kind of wrapped up. And so this is kind of a reset. But like a lot of times with the, well, not a reset, but like the next, we're moving to the next thing. And they acknowledged the whole Apophis thing and moved
So
forward.
we kicked his ass.
Right? Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
But I love this because we got so much lore in this one. And I have questions. But what we got in this, one, we know there are 3 more SG teams.
Yes.
They made a real point. The 3 new SG teams, 10 through 12. So keeping that in mind. We know that Cassandra or Cassie or whatever she goes, which by the way, how cool is that to like recur her as like bring her in? This was a really appropriate reason to bring her in. It was really well done. But she's got Naquita in her, some traces of Naquita left in her blood. So she can kind of sense Goa'uld. So Naquita has a property of some kind to help with that. Goa'uld can transfer via French kiss. And so that's changing the games a little bit. But here's the stuff that I got. I think we've heard before that we were called the Tauri. Like we heard that a long time ago, but this is the first time we've heard it since then, where Jolinar called us the Tauri.
Yep. And you remember what is special about that? About what the Tauri is?
We're like the where all the humans were pulled from, like we're the proto-human basically.
But they were also a myth. In Goa'uld society, they're told to the Jaffa as a myth. Tauri don't really exist. They just, we didn't really do that. It's a myth.
Yeah. Not a thing. Also,
Legend.
Here's evidence all over the galaxy that we totally did this.
Right.
Apparently, Goa'uld can leave a host without killing it at great risk to themselves, but it's possible.
But you also already do that, though, Jeff.
Did I?
sort of. So if you remember Kendra, who we met in the Thor's Hammer episode, where, but that was the Goa'uld was like flipped out of her because of the hammer.
Yeah.
Like the Goa'uld just sort of fried himself, you know? So I guess from that, what we all really learned was a human can survive post Goa'uld, but in this one, a Goa'uld can choose to leave a host. Yeah.
And we met a group of Goa'uld that might do that. The Tok'ra.
The Tok'ra. Yeah.
Tok'ra, like the fifth column in V. They're a small group of Goa'uld that don't believe in the stuff the Goa'uld do and are trying to take him down, which also introduced us to the cast of the Ashrak. It's a super great assassin. So tons of really cool stuff. The story itself was great. And I loved how, like, this is the second episode of the season, the second episode of the first season, third, but, you know, second, if you take Children of the Gods as one. Both times we get a member of the SG team getting Goa'ulded up.
Yeah.
And they reference that.
Oh yeah. I never thought about that. Yeah.
Kind of cool. Kind of a cool little thing.
Yeah.
But but you know, it didn't go well with Kowalski, obviously. You know, he's, you know, rest in peace. Kowalski. And
that's what he gets for not being on the DVD cover, Jeff.
Exactly. It's a good place to be.
His fault.
Gonna be on a show. It's a good place to be.
Yeah.
But so I thought it was cool. This showed, not only do we learn a lot more about the Goa'uld, but we also showed that the SG team, they're better at this stuff now. They know more. They can deal with things a lot differently. And frankly, having Tilk on board is a big part of that. Looking through, I have a couple of little notes. Super superficial. That's not true. That's not fair. I'm going to say that over again. Super just judgy. Look at Jeff talking about how well people are acting or whatever. I loved the affect Amanda Tapping had. Like at first when she got Goa'ulded, she was just, you know, she's just Sam. And then every now and then the eyes glowed and she did the really cool Goa'uld voice. But then when she was full Jolinar, the whole affect on her face, she just looked hard. She looked sharp.
Yeah.
The makeup and the lighting helped a lot, but just her face was, great face acting.
It didn't look like Sam Carter.
Exactly. Yeah.
It really didn't. Yeah.
It was really well done. And her voice, her everything, is really great performance by Tapping in this one. O'Neill had some great moments in this one. One is when he talked to Cassandra, like he came down, you know, sat down on the floor to her level and had a really compassionate conversation. But I had a real problem with a line he dropped in this one. He says, "I will never trust a Goa'uld." Wow. I totally understand being careful around them, you know, whatever, but like, that's like someone in World War II saying, "I will never trust a German," or someone now saying, "I will never trust an Arab," or what, you know, whatever. Any of them? Really? O'Neill, come on. Not a shining moment for him. I love the way the episode ended with so a lot of this was, we learned about the Tok'ra. Jolinar saying, "I'm a Tok'ra. I'm cool. Like, I'm cool, man. Let's work together." And understandably, they're like, "I don't know if I can trust you." Totally proved it. Gave his life to save Sam. And so in my note here at the very end, all capitals, I'm like, the Tok'ra are real. Like, it's a real thing. And Jolinar was that. So I think that's really cool. My question, big question in this one, and I feel like I have heard this before, but it's not ringing for me. What's a system lord?
Ooh, I'm so glad this is actually the second time we've heard about system lords.
Okay. Was it Hathor? I think we heard the term. I think it was Hathor.
I believe it was Hathor.
And it was just like an offhand thing. I didn't really even think about it that much at the time.
System lords. I am not going to say anything more than what you know within the show, because I'm going to let the show answer that question for you. All right. But here's what you know. The system lords are Goa'uld, a group of Goa'uld that effectively rule Goa'uld society.
Okay. They're the lords.
They're the lords. You know that Apophis is one of the system lords. Ra was one of the system lords. Not all Goa'uld, not every single Goa'uld is a system lord. Like, actually, it's only very few Goa'uld who are actually.
It's like a hierarchy kind of a thing.
Yeah. Well, it's because you got some Goa'uld who are the lords. You got some who are the ashrak. You got some who, you know, do
things.
Different things, and you have this really small, tiny group of Tok'ra, who are like, yeah, we are actually against what our own people are doing, and we're not those fools over there.
Which, to my point on O'Neill, like, hopefully he has a change of heart in this moment, but also, like, knowing there's kind of a, I don't know, a class system or whatever with the Goa'uld, there's got to be a whole bunch of Goa'uld that are just, like, dudes that show up to work and do their thing. You know, like, they're in the big motherships, moving the machinery around and, you know, being the lower decks guys and stuff. And I'll bet some of them are just like, Apophis, I swear. If I swear to Raw, if I ever end up face to face with that guy, I'm going to tell him what's what because he saw. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
they're probably just some dudes too. But I definitely got the impression that System Lord is going to be like, they did a lot of work to establish that in this episode.
They said System Lords a lot. Episode. Yeah, they did.
I wrote it down with questions. I'm like, I'm not going to bring this up now because I'll totally like take the entire conversation in the episode. But I'm like, that's a thing I got to know about.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was a great episode. Really enjoyed it. It was really well done. A lot of great moments. I'm even willing to forgive the fact that Daniel had a Stargate patch out in public.
Right.
So
I'll give you one thing you missed. We learned Dr. Fraser's first name.
Oh,
they said it twice in the episode. Did you miss it?
I did.
Her name is Janet.
Oh, you know what? I should remember that because literally one time I said, "Hey, Janet, this," and I was like, "Damn it, Janet!" When Rocky Horror Picture on the whole thing. I didn't say it in the moment, and I should have. I probably would have remembered. Janet Fraser. There we go.
There you go. Janet
Fraser. Well, now that we know Fraser's last name is Janet, I'm curious to know, Brent, if you found any sci-fi type like messages in the Line of Duty.
Yeah, I thought there were several that just sort of not several. I thought there was a small smattering that really got thrown out there. A lot of this, Jeff, as you may have guessed, is establishing lore, world building.
A lot of world,
as a
building.
lot of our friends may say.
Potential foreshadowing.
Yes. Which, by the way, I just want to point out, world building episodes don't have to be boring.
Because this was not a boring episode at all.
This was not a boring episode.
Great
and
episode.
This episode certainly expanded the world, the universe, actually, I guess. It expanded a lot for us in this one
Stargate universe, would you say?
Yes. But I love Teal'c's line. The Goa'uld's greatest weakness is their arrogance. I've seen many strategies revealed and many battles lost because of it. You can exploit that. I think there's definitely something to be said there, but we all heard that about the Goa'uld and we're like, yeah, I can see that. It's just their arrogance. Their arrogance gets them in trouble. Was there a message because of it? Is there a mirror to society? Maybe not. Is it telling us how to be better people? Maybe just don't be arrogant like that.
Well, it could be a bit of a mirror to society, I think, and I'm not going to call out anyone in particular. Just look at politicians.
Yeah. They think they're untouchable because of their arrogance. There you go. We can look at, as you say, politicians that are super arrogant, and that arrogance, the way they flaunt their
status,
their
title,
status, their influence, their impunity. Is that a word?
Oh, okay, yeah.
You know what I mean? The way they flaunt certain things like that, that just lets them get away with whatever they think they can get away with. And then when people call them on it, they're like, and then when one of them gets brought up, it's amazing to watch some of the other ones like, oh, well, if you think I did that wrong, look at all this other stuff that I'm going to now tell you about. Oh my gosh. And I'm probably not even talking about who y'all think I'm talking about. All right.
In Oregon, we literally got a new governor because of that, by the way. Well, you think that's bad? What about this? The whole change of administration. Just like that.
Yeah. I did find in this a very interesting parallel to the Borg from Star Trek. If I could dive into that. I don't mean to make this all about Star Trek, but as a Star Trek podcaster, I've been down this road before, and so I kind of recognize it here. In Star Trek, there's the Borg. Borg were this big, bad, scary, bad guy, nigh unbeatable. In fact, they had to limit how many times they brought them into the show because you couldn't actually beat the Borg, who were supposed to be unbeatable. And the Star Trek series Voyager often catches a lot of flack for taking the teeth out of the Borg, saying you dehumanize, or you what's the word, you devillainized them. And my response to that is yes, they did, but understand how they did it, because they took the time to get to know the Borg. Things are only scary when you don't know about them, right? When you take the time to understand something and know how it works and see how it operates, it's not really that scary anymore. I can do that. I can handle this. We can go through this. There's so much of Daniel Jackson sitting in that briefing room just saying, look, there's so much of their society we don't understand. We're learning more about their society. The more we learn about this, the more we'll be able to handle that. Like he continues to go through that. And I think a lot of this episode really kind of revolved about, okay, well, we got to learn more about Goa'uld society. The idea that the Goa'uld actually have a society. Think about that. You mentioned like somewhere on a planet out there just has to be a planet full of Goa'uld that they're getting up and going to work.
Just doing their thing.
And they have a society. And then there is this government system of the system lords that are out doing whatever. So I thought that was there. But part of what led me to that was thinking about 7 of 9. And I started thinking about Hugh. If you remember, he's another Borg. And Jeff, it really comes down to the line that you quoted there a minute ago, where Jack says he'll never trust a Goa'uld. But then we meet Jolinar, who sacrifices himself to save Carter. Like at the end, they're both dead. And all of a sudden there's stuff happening and we don't know what's going on. And it's like there's two things going on, and they're both going to die. They're both going to die. Oh wait, Carter's back and he sacrificed himself to save me. And I don't know, Jeff, at what point you started going, actually, this guy's telling the truth. You know, like he tries to bow up like he's a Goa'uld to try to like force them into letting him go. And then that doesn't work. And so now he's actually telling them like, okay, actually, here's who I am and this is what I'm doing. He's still a Goa'uld though. Like he still kind of does it in that Goa'uldy way. But he sacrifices himself, and we learn that these Tok'ra have the same goals as the people of Earth, to dismantle the system lord. She says to him, the system lord's time is at an end. This is, you know, and you're like, when she said that to him, that's when I was like, okay, this dude's legit. I remember watching that for the first time going, okay, so this is for real. This is not just a Goa'uld trying to say something to get out of a bad situation, right? So, and again, again, not to over Star Trek this thing, I was thinking Kirk with the Klingons and stuff like that. When Jack said, I'll never, ever trust a Goa'uld, you knew immediately he's going to have to trust a Goa'uld.
Right? Exactly.
Right? Like he's going to live to eat those words. And the episode, people have said that I have criticized the episodes before for bringing up a topic, but then not discussing it. Okay. I don't know that that's a criticism as much as just a pointing it out and saying, can I really count that as an issue because it's not there. This one did not really explore that concept a lot, but really what we're talking about is racism. Jack was racist. He was prejudiced against everyone who's a Goa'uld before he ever gets to know them. Right. And what we learn is that even the Goa'uld, even within the worst of the people, you still need to take the chance to get to know them. And I'm going to dip back into something I've talked about quite a bit on several other podcasts at this point. When you dehumanize people, when you de-individualize them and you group them in with a lump of people because of their skin color, their nationality, their socioeconomic status, their gender, their hair color, their favorite sports team, their take your pick. What state they're from, whatever. What political party they vote. Whatever it is. You know what I mean? When you take away their individuality and you just call them that group, it's easy to hate them. When you take the time to get to know them, though, you find out something much different. Maybe you don't hate them. This show did not explore that. They did not discuss it. It didn't turn it over. It didn't look at it. It didn't do any of that stuff that you and I would maybe expect out of like a Star Trek show or something that would give this like a huge rating. But the thing is, it didn't have to. Not in this episode. Like they put it out there, I'll never, ever trust a Goa'uld. And then instead of discussing it, it just showed us why Jack should trust a Goa'uld. And that fact that not all Goa'uld are the same. And it made that perfectly clear. And it just, it's so beautiful because it allowed the show to undo that, because Jack said that right about in the midpoint of the show.
Right.
And then we saw the rest of the episode kind of unfold of going, yeah, Jack's going to have to eat those words. And I loved it. I loved that they did that. That to me really was the main piece out of all of it. If we can pull lessons out of this, I think it's a really strong message. Is it what the writer intended when he was writing? I think that's what he intended when he wrote that line.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there certainly was a lot of, like I said, this was a lot of world building, introducing us to some other concepts, but at the same time, you've got to face that particular obstacle. This is a 4 chevron episode to me. Might be a little high, maybe 3.5, but I'll go 4. I'm gonna say 4.
I like that. I like that quite a bit, actually. You know, it hits me how, as you were talking, I went back to, I think it was the Nox, when we met I think it was a Jaffa that was after Teal'c, right? And there was a whole thing, and somewhere the line came up of, I've never met a good Goa'uld.
Yeah.
And in that
Teal'c
moment,
Teal'c said, I've never met a good Goa'uld. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And in that moment, talking about like racism and we'll just say like unconscious bias, I just accepted at that point, Goa'uld are the bad guys.
Yeah.
That's it. That's what it's gonna be. And then immediately in this, like, it was the same point when Jolinar kept saying system lords, I'm like, they wouldn't be referencing these system lords if Jolinar was evil, because we'd have to just know what that means. They're using this as part of the thing. So I think he's telling the truth. And so it is like, oh, there are some. And it wasn't until this moment when you were talking, I'm like, oh my gosh, I was in the same place that Jack was as a viewer. Goa'uld are the bad guys, period. End of story. Oh, wait.
But to be fair though, Jeff, you were working based on the knowledge that you had at the moment.
But
Jack has been working off the knowledge and the experience he's had up to this moment.
But let's look at that knowledge and experience. He's met what? 4 Goa'uld?
Well, let's hear it. He's met Ra.
Mm-hmm.
He's met Hathor. Apophis, for sure. Skara, Chlorel.
Mm-hmm.
Right. He has seen Sharae. I don't know that we could say that he that Goa'uld's name is Eminet, by the way.
Eminet, okay.
Eminet.
Like peanut M&Ts.
He has seen other Goa'uld, I think, but he certainly hasn't interacted and met them. He heard of Nirti. Nirti is the one that did all the stuff for Cassandra. We didn't meet Nirti, but Nirti, the one the place where he got really old, Brief Candle, whatever that. So there's that Goa'uld. He didn't meet him, but saw those effects there. So
we'll say 6. Let's be very generous and say 8.
Okay.
He's had some interaction or thing with 8 Goa'uld, which means that's what we've had as well.
Yeah.
I judged an entire race
on 8
people who are clearly in like the military exploration, whatever arm of stuff. So imagine if I met, I don't know, just say 8 soldiers.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm like, we'll just say from country X. Yeah. And those 8 soldiers were jerks. And I'm like, every Exian is the worst. I'll never trust them. They're horrible. Wow. Shame on me. And so I was railing on Jack a little bit earlier. That was a bad moment. I'm owning that I had that exact same moment.
Yeah.
Oh.
But when you start getting to know them, and to go back to my earlier point, when you start getting to know them, you take the scary away. You all of a sudden, those places where you thought one way get challenged. You go, oh man, I used to think this way, but maybe I can't think that way about those people anymore. You know?
Yeah.
Just saying. So yeah, 4 chevrons. I think it's pretty there. And I love that it's with the show didn't have to preach it. It just did the story and it came through the story. I love that about it.
They showed it. Yeah.
So Jeff, I got to rate this episode on a bunch of chevrons. You, my friend, however, get, I think the more fun part where you get to rank it. So we are beginning our SG1 season 2 ranking. And here's the deal. You might think this is the first time we've done this, but it's not. Because last week we actually had a double episode within the Serpent's Grasp and in the Serpent's Lair, I'm going to go ahead and forward that over to this episode as well. That was a double episode, so we'll leave it there in season 1 where we left it, which I think was about midland of the deal.
It was like number 4.
It was number 4. So we'll bring this over. So that is currently our number 1 episode is in the Serpent's Lair. You get to now rank this one. It's only 2, but still, where do you rank in the Line of Duty?
Here I was expecting the whole like, oh, it's our number 1 because it's all we have. You messed everything up for me.
I know.
I have to critically think out of the blue.
Yes. That's why I didn't warn you ahead of time.
I will never trust a Brent Allen.
You shouldn't. They're awful. Every single one of them are awful. If their last name is Allen, it's an awful group of people.
Seriously. You know, when I was a bad guy wrestler, that was my last name.
Allen?
Is JT Allen.
Yeah.
Totally on brand for the Allen name.
Yeah.
This was a great episode. This did, like we said, it was world building. It was introducing concepts that were hinted at, adding a ton of dimension to the Goa'uld. It was a really well done episode. Great acting, a fun story, showing growth. Really enjoyed it. But dude, in the Serpent's Lair, man, what an episode, right? I mean, I sang all of its praises last week, so I'm just going to kind of say that it's going to be a tough one to beat. It's going to be a tough combination to beat. And as much as I enjoyed In the Line of Duty, it's not going to be the one that beats it. It's our number 2. In the Line of Duty is our number 2. Middle school.
Oh
right?
my
Basically
gosh.
13. Sorry. You swing at the ones that are right in the strike zone. You got to do it.
That's fair.
That's actually not true. I could have really kept my mouth shut and everything would have been fine. But
all right, Jeff, that's going to do it for In the Line of Duty. Next week, we're watching an episode called Prisoners. You want to take a stab at it?
SG1's going to be on a planet. I'm going to go ahead and PRX 251. They're going to be on planet PRX 251, and they're going to be taken prisoner. And it's going to be an episode about them trying to escape. In fact, I think when they're
are we gonna open with them already having been captured and being prisoners, like dropping down the chute?
I like that.
You know?
No.
Okay.
Nope. We're gonna. It's just going to be we're going to follow the narrative arc of the whole thing. Whomever captures them though is going to be a little bit smarter than the SGC, and they're going to put them in separate cells. So they're going to have to like figure out how to communicate, how to work together. Things like that. In fact, I'm going to say that this is going to be a great one to look at through a leadership lens.
Well, Jeff, you are a good guesser. And we'll see you next time right here on Stargate SG1 for the first time. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode here. Hey, wherever you are, please be sure that you like, subscribe, leave a rating, leave a review, whatever podcast app you're listening to us on. Please go over and click that button, leave a rating and review. We would really appreciate it. It helps get the word out. And if you know somebody out there who loves Stargate SG1, or maybe somebody who, like my friend Jeff over there, needs to experience the show for the very first time, please introduce them to the show. We would love to have them along for the ride. So guys, until next time, we're going to be back. We're going to see
Brent.
Yes, Jeff.
The days for the first time System Lords are numbered.
Crying out loud.